as well. Hello, everybody. How are you? Happy 4th of July. So, we are just made it home from being with our family. And hello, son. How are you?
It's the boy.
So, everybody's awake, but we wanted to do a quick Facebook and Periscope on the image of marriage. We put a little information out yesterday or day before yesterday.
The poll was Sunday.
Sunday. That was
No, Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
Saturday.
About how did you learn about marriage and where did you learn about marriage and how did you know you were ready? So there's a lot of answers that came out and a lot of things that happened, but we found that many of us and many of you learned about marriage from watching other people, watching other married couples. Even if you did not have marriage in your home, one person said they even learned about marriage from Sunday school.
Right.
Yeah, they learned about marriage from Sunday school.
From watching people in their Sunday school class.
Right. So it's amazing that you don't really know that folks are watching you, and you don't really know that the things you say and the things that you're doing about your marriage, not only are you speaking it, but you're sending that message off to others. So, for instance, if you say, well, are you married? And you say, oh, yeah. That's sending a message to somebody. Or if you're saying, or if someone's hitting on you and they don't even know you're married, and they say, are you happily married? And they say, for now. Those kind of things. Hello, Spencer.
It's the other boy.
Those kind of things are really not something that is the image. So what image do you want to portray in your marriage? Who are you? Are you wanting people to see the beauty of marriage, the institution of marriage, or are you wanting them to think that it's horrible? Because it's not. You wouldn't have got married if it was horrible. Oh, Spencer loves the camera.
That's part of marriage, folks.
We were looking at something today, say you don't have to be perfect when you're doing Periscope, and you don't have to be everything else. So this is family life. This is 9 o'clock in the Cleckley home with two of the four, 5 if you include the grandbaby.
Which, yeah. That's Omega. He's the last. I promise.
Yeah, race car. Show me race car on here.
Go get Jared.
Okay, we also wanted to look at the fact that when you have marriage and when you look at things with marriage, what are you seeing for yourself? How do you see your marriage? How do you see the things that you want to see and the people that you want to see? That's the big thing. How do you see your own marriage? What is the image of your marriage? What do you want your marriage to be? You got?
Yeah, that's very good.
Thank you.
I was thinking, Shanice was catering an event in Charleston once, and I was in the kitchen at the aquarium, and I met a gentleman. He also was a restaurateur, and he asked me if I was married. He asked me what I was doing there, and I said I'm here catering an event. He says, oh, you got your family with you? I said, yeah, I got my ball and change, which is an old school term, your old ball and chain. He said, that's your wife? I said, yeah. He said, why would you ever call your wife such a horrible name? Why would you call her ball and chain? He said, didn't you choose to marry her? I said, well, yeah, I did. And, he gave me a little lecture. He fussed at me a little bit, but it was okay because it came from an old head, and it came from somebody that I felt had a genuine concern for me, even though I'd never met him before. And that's the kind of image that sort of got me thinking, okay, who's watching me? Who's keeping up with me? Who's paying attention when I make statements like my old ball and chain, or the old lady, or any of the things that as a culture or as a society we tend to call our spouse the old man, the husband, the mister. Yeah, that's my old sorry husband. You saw a video today. A little girl was mocking something she'd seen her mom and her mom's friends talking about, and she was talking and talking. He said, well, girl, where your old sorry husband at? And the little girl might have been 2 or 3 years old, but she knew to say your old sorry husband. I ain't nobody's sorry husband.
No. And you don't want that image.
So you don't want that image. So be very careful the words you choose to speak, or the words you choose to use when you're talking about your marriage, when you're talking about your spouse, because it does matter. Believe it or not, somebody is paying attention to you, and you never know. Somebody may be on that precipice, maybe trying to decide whether or not I'm going to ask her to marry me, whether or not it's worth staying in this marriage, in this relationship. So be constant and be cognizant. Be cognizant of that as you go through your everyday.
And if you have children, it's so important. Our children, unfortunately, are children of divorce because they went through a divorce with each of us. And then when we got together 10 years ago, you wonder what they're going to think. And this weekend, we picked up our son from camp. And we went out to breakfast. And we were sitting, he was talking about camp. And he said, Mom and Dad, man, guys treat girls bad.
So guys do girls dirty.
Do girls dirty. And it was like, really? And he gave us examples and talked to us about that. But he was the chivalrous one. He said, men don't have enough chivalry. They need to have a chivalry. And I'm like, I thank the Lord that he sees his father. So therefore, he knows what that means and knows what it is. But then he said something that was really, really, interesting. It was almost made me have a tear to my eye. He said, if I get married and when I get married, I want to have a marriage like this. And he was talking about me and his daddy and how we were talking back and forth to each other and we were doing some banter and having a good time. He said, I want to have marriage like this if we get married. And that meant the world to me, that while, yes, he is a child of divorce and he's my inherited child, he still sees a relationship that is loving enough to say that he wants to model, that he wants to have it in this way, and that he wants to have just a relationship in general of that intimacy, because he could have gone the other way. He could have said, I'm never going to love again. I saw how my mom and dad did this and that, and mama, you're divorced or however, but he didn't. He said, if I get married and when I get married, I want it to look like this. So you are the image of your marriage. You are who it is. You are marriage. And if that is the case, speak life into it. Speak glory into it. Speak all those things that you know that why you married that person, and make it better. Don't think negatively, think positively. And the more positive you are, and the more that you recognize that these things are here, and yeah, there's stumbling blocks, but let the love shine through. And once that love shines through and the image shines through, you don't know how much you're going to be lifting up somebody.
Yeah, and like you said, speak life, because you never really know. The marriage you save may be your own.
Right.
You may be the only person that's keeping your marriage together, and maybe everybody else is saying, they don't deserve to be together, or she deserves better, or he doesn't need to be with her. And if the only people you've got is each other, and the two of you are constantly tearing each other down, or constantly tearing the marriage down, then you don't have you don't have much hope. You don't have a reason to keep going. So,
but if you build yourselves up, if you constantly affirm each other, if you constantly say, I love you, and you push past the issues, because the issues will always be there, but your joy and your love that you have for each other is the thing that is your foundation, that is your core. And if you continue to speak life into your marriage and hold each other and have that intimate time, not sexual, but that intimate time. I mean, sex is good, but have that time where you are, like I put out today, pillow talk, where you're speaking into each other and you're just relaxing and speaking each other's truth, and having a household that is full of truth and non-judgment with your marriage. Your image of marriage will change, and you will then portray something that your children will be able to want to duplicate, and that other people will see, which builds a healthy society and builds a healthy world. So just remember, you are the image of your marriage, and how you treat and talk about your spouse and talk about your marriage, others are looking at. So make sure that you're doing the positive thing, the holy thing, the great thing, and that this institution is held up like the bond that it is, the strong bond it is. So
tonight, before you go to bed, find something good, something great, something positive to say about your spouse. And I said find, but it shouldn't be hard to find, because you live with this person every day. Mm-hmm. And you woke up with them this morning, and prayerfully you'll wake up with them tomorrow.
That's
so
right.
Take a moment or two and determine something good to say about your spouse, something good to say about your marriage, and put a prayer on it, put a praise on it, and say that before you go to bed tonight.
Can I say mine now?
No, because I don't want to share that with everybody.
Oh, okay. Intimate time.
Fine, go ahead, say it.
No, that's okay. You don't want to share. You don't have to share it.
You can say it.
I just want to thank you for always loving me unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
For the same.
Whatever. Why you gonna steal mine?
It was mine first.
Okay, whatever. So, anyway.
Bye, Tammy.
So, say something nice and do something nice, and we'll talk to you guys soon. We thanks so much. Bye.